Hi, I'm Greta Oliver. Welcome to the Educate You podcast, your roadmap to learning tips, techniques, and strategies to enable your student to successfully navigate the road to and through higher education. Hello, everyone. Today's guest on the Face of Resilience episode of Educate You is Phylicia French. And before I go one step further, I will let everybody know that I am pronouncing her name in the Spanish way.
Yes.
And I have her complete and total permission to do so.
Absolutely.
So Phylicia French is an author, entrepreneur, international motivational speaker, breakthrough coach, and podcast host from Galveston, Texas. She believes in motivation and encouragement that is tailored to real people and which addresses the ebbs and flows of real life. She previously worked for 10 years as a university academic advisor and coach. Now she helps others break through barriers and realize their true reflection of personal, academic, and professional excellence. Today, she's going to be telling us her story of resilience and discussing what she's learned as a result of her journey of growth and discovery. Please join me in welcoming Phylicia French to Educate You. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here. And if you're ready for me, I'll just get going.
Okay, I'm going to just let you go because what I really want you to show is that this can be done. You are the face, honestly, the face of resilience. This educational journey that we have so many students attempting to start and that they want, and it's doable. It's something that actually can happen. And your story is a testament to that. So I'm going to just let you go by just kind of giving us an abbreviated version of your story and what you learned.
Okay, perfect. So I was in high school, ready for college. College has always been a thing for me. My parents instilled that. I actually graduated from high school a full year early because I was so eager to go off to college and just be on my own. I get off to college, and at orientation, everyone's talking to me about the transition, asking for help. They're telling me everything, but I'm just kind of like, I graduated a full year early. Mm-hmm. I got this. In one ear and out the other, I got this. Mm-hmm. When you go off to school, no one tells you, you're going to be on your own, but no one tells you that no one's going to force you to take responsibility of your degree. Mm-hmm. I realized I'm 17 at this time. No one's going to make me go to class. No one's going to force me to do anything. Okay, all right. I'm smart. I say to myself, I'm smart. I graduated a full year early. I will figure it out like I always do. But college is not like that. Mm-hmm. And I actually did not figure it out. I struggled a lot. I didn't do what I was supposed to do. I did not ask for help. All of the resources and advice they gave me at orientation, I didn't follow through. I was also struggling with my own anxiety and depression and a lot of different things. Mm-hmm. That if I would have asked for help, if I would have used the resources, I would have been okay. Mm-hmm. So here I am, first semester, academic probation. Okay. Second semester, I say to myself, I'm going to do better. But I'm also still navigating depression and anxiety. And I also never figured out study habits. I never figured out how to ask for help. I just said to myself, I was magically going to do better because probation is supposed to make me do that, right? Mm-hmm. That's what I'm thinking. Mm-hmm. That didn't happen the second semester. I stayed in the same space. Mm-hmm. No resources. I started off doing okay, but eventually I ended up not doing well. So second semester, again, academic probation, I have one more warning. If you don't get it together, you're going to be on academic suspension. Third semester, if y'all can believe it, same thing happened. Again, I did not ask for help. I want y'all to understand, in university, there are resources available to you. Mm-hmm. But if you don't take those resources you can end up in my situation where I just kept trying to figure it out on my own, but I didn't have the bandwidth to do so. So I ended up still navigating depression, anxiety, no study skills, not going to class, hanging out with friends, doing everything but going to class and taking care of my responsibilities as a student. So I ended up having to go back home because 3 strikes, it's time to go. All F's and D's, y'all, maybe 2 C's. I pulled off maybe about 2 C's in those 3 semesters. When I was at home, I still didn't know what I was going to do. I still had no idea what was going to be next. I just knew I'm home. My mom was like, okay, go to the community college. But the thing about college and where you are, you have to want it for yourself. No one is going to be able to take those exams for you or do those assignments for you. No one can want it more than you do. So of course, I'm going to go to college. I'm going to go to community college because my mom wants me to do it. I still had no idea what was next for me. So I took 1 class, got a C, barely made it. What happened was I was able to take care of myself mentally. I was able to navigate my depression, my anxiety, my identity issues, just figuring out certain things for myself that I never worked through prior to going off to school, being a 16-year-old graduating from high school and 17 on a campus, a college campus, with at a university. I went to an HBCU that probably was not the right fit for me just because I probably needed, as a 17-year-old, I needed more support. I needed to be in a space with a little bit more hands-on guidance and resources. So that was another thing. College fit is everything, y'all. That was an issue for me as well. One day, I just said to myself that I wanted more. I knew that I wanted more. I thought about I graduated from high school a full year early. So clearly I have the intelligence, but let me tell y'all the secret to success in college. It's not about how smart you are. All of us are smart in our own ways. College is about how hard you're willing to work. That's what it's all about. And I was not willing to put in the work because I didn't make a connection to my worth, my value, how I saw myself in the future. I had low self-esteem. I was navigating all these things. So how can I see myself in a very nice future-oriented way when I'm still stuck in the past or just in a really bad place? Once I fixed me and healed me and worked on me, I had a mindset shift like that. And it was all systems go because it was me. I actually, when I was in school, I just had to focus on school. But at home, my mom's like, you're home, you're going to work, you're going to do everything that you need to do. I worked at a preschool. Y'all, I worked with 3-year-olds. So, you know, I was tired from 7 a.m. until 3 o'clock. From 3 o'clock until 9 o'clock p.m., I went to night school. I went to the community college. And I was so dedicated because I was working on my all-around health. At 9 p.m., I was at the gym because my mind was set on wellness, holistic wellness, and I locked into my future. I knew, I actually did not, because here's the thing, y'all, I didn't know exactly what I was going to do, but I knew I was not going to be in the position that I was in at that moment. I ended up transferring to a 4-year university, Sam Houston State University, in a degree that was for me. Initially, my major was not a major that was for me. I picked psychology because I actually didn't want to do the same degree my sister did. I was like, I'm not going to do my sister's degree, but I really am interested in sociology. So I found my major. That's another thing. When you find what connects to you, that will help a lot. In this university at Sam Houston State, we were required to meet with our advisors. We were required to meet with academic coaches. I also found a program that that had tutoring, they
Mm-hmm.
had book rentals, they had everything for me. I changed. I used
Mm-hmm.
my resources. I wasn't afraid to ask for help.
Yeah.
And I learned study skills and I believed in myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I graduated, went into higher education.
Right.
One more thing that's important for me to mention, I started off with F's and D's, just a lot of them. I didn't even think it would be possible for me to graduate with my degree with a 2.5, but I ended up graduating with a 3.0.
Mm-hmm. That's wonderful.
That was really, really big for me. It just showed how hard I was willing to work and invest in myself because I wanted to do that. So that part was amazing. And it taught me that like resilience. And it just taught me, y'all, I'm not trying to be cliche, but anything is possible. Anything is possible. That high school, that 17-year-old that probably should have still been a senior in high school, that was on that campus, had no direction, did not think that she was going to even graduate, didn't even see herself in a light of greatness or beauty or kindness, anything. And I made it out of that.
Right, right. You know what, I want to jump in right now because I noticed that your shift came about and then the structure that you surrounded yourself with, I think that also was a key factor in your turnaround, because if you notice, when everything you said, it was like when you first went to school, you didn't have structure. You could do whatever you wanted to do, and you did exactly that, and you see what that got you. But then once you were at home and you had to make a decision, go to community college, you had to work, you had to, you were working all these hours with, a job with young children, and you had to be somewhere between the hours of whatever and whatever. You had a plan. It's like you got a plan, and the plan included structure and times and things that you had to do. You had to, even if you were just talking about going to the gym and trying to work out, you had a time for that. You had structure around you. And I think a lot of people don't realize that sometimes, you just need structure sometimes.
Yeah.
And I mean, maybe not just structure, because you also worked on, getting healthy and learning about yourself and overcoming, some of your obstacles that you were going through as far as, depression, low self-esteem and all of that. But I do believe that when you have structure around you, I think almost everybody will perform a little better than they had been when they had nothing. And so I just noticed that kind of throughout what you were saying, because it seems like once you got structure and some accountability in your life, and also realizing that not only did you need to be accountable to like your employer, you needed to be accountable to these students' parents that you're working with. You need to be accountable to, even your academic advisor by showing up for the meetings and things of that nature, accountable to your professor by showing up for class, and then also being accountable to yourself, that you knew that this is something you can do. You went and you, yes, you graduated a whole year early, and I heard that several times. And so I think that was where you had like hung your laurel, like I did this. I know I got out of school a year early. I know what I'm doing, but yet you didn't have the actual maturity to do that because, first of all, you were young and you probably weren't as mature as you needed to be. And then second of all, because you probably just really didn't even want to be there deep down inside.
Yep, that's it right there. As an academic advisor, I would tell my students coming in, 18, 19-year-old, even if they're older than me at 17, you hit it just perfectly, because that structure in school, the accountability and structure, the bell is going to ring and you have to go to first period, second period, right. Fourth period. When you're in college,
no bells are ringing.
2 classes, right? No, there are no bells.
Right.
You may have 2 classes a day. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
You could go to class from 9 to 11 each day with all your classes. Now you have online class, and then you have the entire day to yourself.
Right.
You have to create a whole new structure for you, so that you can make sure you don't fall into the trap of, I'll get to it later.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get to it later.
Procrastination. And then pretty soon, it doesn't even matter. Once you start missing classes, missing assignments, you're thinking, okay, I'm not going to be able to catch up. There's no way I don't know what's going on. There's no way I can figure that out. Then it just it goes from procrastination to just not going, period.
Right. And that's what happened to me. In high school, teachers are more willing to work with you. You miss an assignment, you miss this, you miss that. Okay, we'll work with you, In college, I tried to show up after a midterm and was like, yeah, I know I missed the midterm. I know I missed this. I know I missed that.
Lord.
My professor was like, you need to drop this class.
Yeah, exactly. And I certainly understand that. I've taught on the collegiate level. I know that. And I know, they have only so much compassion, especially when they don't see evidence of you trying.
Right.
Now, I'm not bashing professors at all, because I've been one. Right. And I do know that they want you to succeed, but nobody wants to feel like they are playing the so-called fool in the situation.
Right.
When you have a student that kind of comes after midterms or shows up right before the end of, the semester or whatever. And suddenly it's like, oh, well, is there something that can be done? I haven't seen you performing all semester.
Yep.
So really, what can I say to you other than you unfortunately, you will not be passing this class, because first of all, people are busy and they have their own lives to live, and professors have responsibilities to all the students. And they cannot, if it's not some kind of horrific circumstance, maybe if it's something horrific, maybe, had a parent that passed away, or something happened in your family, or you became ill or something like that, they will look at circumstances like that and make a determination as to whether they want to, like, maybe, allow you to take a, break and come back and finish your studies in another semester or whatever they want to do. But if it's just because you just didn't feel like coming all semester, then you just accept the grade that you got and the consequences that go along with that. And so
it's disrespectful.
It is very disrespectful. It is disrespectful. And you feel like, as a compassionate person, you're the professor, or you're the one that, you're committed to these students, but you don't want anybody to just kind of play you as well. Like, you know what, I'm gonna just go in there and ask, can they just give me a D? Or I'm gonna ask if they can just, pass me or help me, or make some concessions for me. Honestly, you can't do that. That's not fair to yourself. It's not fair to the other students. And it's also not fair to the student that's asking you that, because that is not real life. You have deadlines and things in real life that you have to adhere to. And college is just the first step to being accountable, when you're going to need to be accountable later in life. And that can be the difference between you having employment or being sent home. And so all of this is serious. And another thing that you said that I really want to jump on too, always, whatever you say, I love it. But another thing that you said that I liked was the kind of you having to become a planner, because you're going to basically, you have, like you said, class, you may have 2 classes in the morning, and then you're done, and you have the rest of the day to do whatever you want to do. But you have to realize, yes, I have to study for these classes. I have to do my readings. I have to do my assignments. I need to be accountable for my time. And what does that mean? That means you get a planner, you get a calendar, you get whatever you need to get. You get a whiteboard, you get whatever you need to do. You
Whatever works for you.
Yes, you find something that
Yeah.
works for you
Yeah.
and you do that. And I mean, if you have to have several of those things going, you might need a paper calendar and a digital calendar. Whatever you need to do it because there's nobody that's going to do that for you as a college student. Or if you do have somebody that's micromanaging you like that, first of all, you don't probably need to be in school. And that person also probably and does not even probably, they don't need to be doing that. You need to be able to stand up and be responsible for yourself. And that's part of growing up, part of maturing, part of, adulting.
Sure.
It's part of adulting. You can't just expect mom and dad to the rescue with the capes, trying to help you out, because they're going to be met with resistance anyway. And it's not going to help you as well.
Yeah. And no one's going to take your exam for you. No one's going to, present your presentation for you. Group projects, all the things that you have to do, you need to be able to build that responsibility and accountability. Absolutely. One thing that I love the name of your podcast. I love that. And your book, Educate You, because education is not just about your academics. It's about learning. You're learning new things about yourself. You're learning who you are as an independent person, what you like, what you don't like. You're also navigating your interests. Maybe I've always said I want to be a doctor, but now I want to be an artist. You're exploring so many different things that if you don't use the resources, create the structure, create the organization, you can get so lost.
Yes.
You have to educate your whole you.
Yes, and all parts of you. All parts, body, mind, spirit, all of it needs to be, growing, and you need to be learning on all different levels, and so all of that makes you a complete person. And that's what we're trying to get, not just college students on a campus. We have plenty of those, but we want to help students to be able to develop into their best selves and utilize whatever help they need as they do that. And so I know one of the things that you said earlier was when you were in your first experience at the HBCU, it really wasn't a fit. And, some people might be kind of shocked at that because they might have thought, okay, I thought HBCUs are more nurturing, they're this, they're that. But one thing that I do want to say is wherever you find your fit is your fit.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's important to find out about different kinds of institutions. It's important to go on college visits. It's important to develop relationships with students that go to certain schools. So if you're interested in a certain school, try to find out how you can hook up or get some kind of connection going with somebody that already goes there. Maybe somebody in your high school goes there, and maybe you might not have been that close to that person, but they would be willing to talk to you about how that school is and how they feel and how they're doing. Anybody would. And so just kind of reach out and just expand yourself, open yourself up to hearing about, the different aspects of the school to see if it even sounds like somewhere that you feel you could be successful. So, and if it doesn't work, you don't necessarily want to get sent home on academic probation, but if it doesn't work,
you can leave. You can
leave. You can make another choice. You can transfer. It doesn't have to be to that level, but I'm just glad to see and to hear that you found your fit. And then once you found your fit and you found yourself.
I found myself.
When you found your fit and you found yourself, and you also realize that people are here to help me, and they are. They're on all campuses. That's one thing that I want students to understand, because you don't have to go through any of this stuff alone. You can find somebody to help you and, get in the fight with you. And, you're worth that. You're worth that.
Absolutely. And don't get discouraged if the first person you encounter is not as nice or as helpful or whatever. You will find someone. There's a club, there's an organization, there's someone that can help you. You also have to remember that people that work in higher education are human. The person you encounter probably had a bad day. Or maybe they are not just the person that's the fit for you. That's okay. But don't get discouraged and say, I'm just not going to ask for help. I used to have students, whenever they would transfer into my program as an advisor, they did not come to see me because they had bad experiences with previous advisors.
Right, right.
But when they finally had no choice, maybe they were struggling, they needed something, they came in to meet with me, they were like, I should have been in your office a long time ago.
Right, right.
Well, it was because they just let a bad experience stop them from getting help. Let me tell y'all something. We are in the university space to help you.
Exactly.
You pay your hard-earned money for your education. Use it up as much as you can. That's what we're there for, to provide you with that support. It's there. The resources are there. Just take advantage of them.
Yes, yes. I couldn't have said it better myself. I'm telling you, I could not have said it better myself. You know, yes, take advantage of all that your tuition dollar, your money is paid for. Every single bit of it. Don't leave anything on the table. Don't leave anything on the table. You know, take advantage of things like studying abroad if you can manage that. Take advantage of those things, because you might not ever have a chance to actually do something like that outside of the years that you're in college. Now, you might want to travel and learn about other cultures and all of this, but then you have the real world experiences kind of jumping and landing right in your face. And so you have to deal with that. You have to deal with how you're going to pay your electric bill and how you're going to pay your food bill and how you're going to take care of your family. You don't really have time to be thinking about like, oh, I want to go see what it's all about in Spain. No, you should do that when you have the time to do that.
Yeah.
And so that's one thing about lifelong learning, is never too late to learn something. And I certainly want people to understand that. But take advantage of everything that's available to you that you can during those college years, because you will not regret that. I'm telling you. You
never will. And also, don't make assumptions. I remember as a student, sometimes I would assume like, oh, maybe I didn't get a certain amount of money or resources, or I applied for this and I never heard anything. I would just make assumptions at first. But then when I had that mindset shift, I said, I'm going to get confirmation on everything. Yes. Because the worst that can happen is that you tell me no. If I talk to my professor and ask for, can you help me during office hours? Can I have some assistance with whatever? Or if I ask for work study, hey, I haven't heard from anyone. I'm just calling to follow up.
Right.
Anything that you want, go for it. The worst that can happen is that they'll say no, right? You never know what opportunities you can just take advantage of if you just speak up and say something. This is your degree, your life. Speak up. And when you build that in in college, when you build that, you are building that when you go into the workforce. You're building that if you decide to further your education. I never thought, my mom said, get a bachelor's. So I'm like, okay, I got a bachelor's. And then she's like, do you think you want to get a master's? For so long, I was like, no. I struggled so much to get this bachelor's. I want to get a master's. But then when I was in my career and I thought, okay, I know what I want to do next. I want to get a master's degree. I went and got my master's. I was working full time. Yes. But I'm going to go back to that determination. That same determination I had to transfer from that community college where I was working with a preschool kids from 7 a.m. and at school till 9 p.m. I had that determination when I was a full-time employee working on my master's degree. And I ended up graduating my master's degree with a 4.0.
Yes. And that is beautiful, 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 because I did not. I think I had a 3.87 or something. And I was just like, when I got the first B, it's just like, y'all just blew my opportunity right there.
I know.
I mean, that is like, you're not going to get a 4.0. It's just like, okay, what's this all about? But you and I are a lot alike, as we talked about before. And yes, I do have to do things the hard way a lot of times. So master's degree, I was married with 2 children. Wow. I was pregnant. I was working full time. And so, yes, and there were no elevators in the building that I was taking my classes in. So I literally was dragging. And when I say dragging, you got to understand that's exactly what I meant.
Wow.
Dragging myself up to those night classes. And
Pregnant.
I got that degree.
Pregnant.
Yes. And I was close. I had the baby, like actually, I think 2 weeks before I graduated. I mean, I was in the last parts of pregnancy too for a lot of it. So it took me, I think, 2 years to get that degree. And the thing is, I wanted it. So I was going to get the degree.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so then same kind of thing with the PhD.
Woo.
Working.
And
At that time I had 11-month contract on my job. So I took a lot of summer classes because that's what I would do in the summer. But I also took night classes. So I was working. I had my 4 kids. I was married. And it's just how bad do you want it, honestly? How bad do you really want this? And so, yes, it was hard, but it's something I wanted and it's something that I valued. And, when it's something that you really care about and you really want to do this, you make it happen.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to tell these students now. You can make it happen.
Yeah.
Yes, we're talking about a bachelor's degree, but you can make that happen. You can make even associates, start at a community college, whatever you need to do, you can make it happen if you really want to. And that's the thing. Do you really want to?
Yeah. Yeah. And I would also say, just give yourself grace. I know a lot of students that are very set on this idea that they have to graduate in 4 years. Very, very set on that. It took me 6 to get to graduate with my undergraduate degree. Don't get so caught up. If you realize, because that determination we're talking about, that motivation, it comes from you. It comes from you knowing what you want next. The vision that you see for yourself. If you realize you're in a health degree and you want to be an architect, you can change your mind. That's okay. It's okay if it's going to take you 1 more year to graduate. That 1 year in the grand scheme of things,
it's really nothing.
It's nothing. It is nothing. So don't get so caught up. Have a plan for sure when you go into school. But I would always tell my students as an advisor, you are going to grow and evolve. Your plan may change. That is okay. Don't be upset if your plan does change. Just understand that as long as it resonates with you, your motivation, if it changes, you can change. It's possible. But again, reach out for help because there are certain policies in place about changing your major, requirements, and everything. Don't walk on assumptions when you're in school. Know what you're doing. Figure it all out. If you know in your mind, I don't want to do this, go to someone that can help you, a career counselor, your academic advisor, to help you navigate it so you don't get stuck in a space where you're like, I'm a junior and now I'm stuck and I really don't want to do this. The moral of all of this is just, y'all, just help yourself by getting help.
Exactly. I love that. I'm going to steal that one.
Yeah, you got it.
Hey, help yourself by getting help. Oh, yes, I love that. Absolutely true. I couldn't say it any better. Like I tell you, you are like almost like a mini younger me. And that's good to see. I'm glad to see somebody that is passionate about helping others, passionate about student development, and passionate about just, being a voice. It seems like sometimes we're just talking to ourselves sometimes, But there are people that can use this information that we are giving, and it's people that will be, they'll benefit from it. And so I thank you so much.
You're so welcome
for coming and just sharing your story. You are the face of resilience. I love it.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So proud of you. I couldn't,
Thank you.
I couldn't even say enough about you, because you are proof positive that somebody that, wants the degree, wants to get finished, wants to persist, can do it even in the face of obstacles. So thank you so much.
That's right, y'all. Anything is possible. I am proof that anything is possible. If you believe in it, you want it, go get it. It's yours.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today on Educate You. If you wish, you can send me your questions or comments about the college going process or the podcast contents by sending an email to Dr. Greta at gretaoliverconsulting.com. Also, beginning each week after the podcast airs, check for a companion blog on my website's blog page at gretaoliverconsulting.com. My book, College Roadmap, Essential Tips for First-Time College Students and Their Families, is available for sale on Amazon.com. Join us next week for another tip or strategy to make the road to higher education easier for your student.